Welcome everyone. Today I have a new Arknights Endfield patch 1.0 free-to-play character guide and also builds guide. Looking behind me, I have prepared a short table of some of the best free-to-play characters, including how you can get those characters for free, what are the best teams for those characters, and what does those characters do for different type of teams and also compositions. You can see I have listed a number of great free-to-play characters, together with some mentionable characters as well, like the Administrator. And to add on top of that, I want to provide you guys and also myself with all the information to prepare for the new patch and also prepare for the launch, of course. So what we have here is we'll briefly go through on the second part about those free-to-play characters, what are some of the best 6-star and also 5-star free-to-play weapons, and what are some of the best set of gears for those characters, and what are the special effects you can be looking for to enhance your team's performance in the early game all the way to the late game. And of course, we're also looking into what are the character promotion materials and how much of the credits, how much of the promotion disc, and everything we needed to get those characters to higher upgrades. So this is also the case for all of those characters. It did take me a while to collect all those information online, and this should help us to understand those characters. And should you want to prepare for those characters ahead of time, because some of those characters you might acquire a little later in the game, you can start to look for their weapons, their upgrade materials, and even their set of gears to prepare for those characters. So diving into the first part of the video, what you can see is we have a summary table over here. And here I want to limit how many free-to-play characters we're looking at, but there is definitely a more number of free-to-play characters. There's great potential for other characters. So what I do recommend is, if you haven't seen our top tier free-to-play character and also team comps, definitely have a look at that. We went over, I guess, 30 plus team comps with different team compositions. We'll briefly mention that in this video as well. We also have a character tier list, and I have been updating the tier list a little bit, and also to understand the characters' roles and also compositions, make sure you see the previous video or see this written guide where I try to divide the characters into their roles and also compositions. We'll briefly explain those roles and why those characters are great for those particular roles. So coming over to part 1. One of the best free-to-play character that I think a lot of content creators and a lot of players will be focusing on is going to be Akekuri. And Akekuri over here is going to be a 4-star fire character. She can be obtained through summoning for characters or character banners. This can be on the standard banner, this can be on the beginner's banner, and this can also be on the limited banners. Because she's a 4-star character, she is one of the easiest characters to get to maximum copies of full potential as we summon for other 6-star and also 5-star characters. And in terms of Akekuri, her best team at the moment is going to be a heat team or fire team, and right now the Veriting is going to be one of the strongest meta characters. If you guys are not sure about the team builds for the Veriting and also the rest of the builds, we do have a previous guide to showcase all the free-to-play and also the strongest meta build for the Veriting. The reason Akekuri is going to be a great supporting character for almost any team is that she is one of the only SP battery characters that does not spend SP when gaining SP for the team. A lot of characters need SP, and in order to gain SP, Akekuri can use her ultimate and also her combos. And while in doing so, she can also provide the team with a 10% damage amp and also provide the team with link. Now, we'll use a number of technical terms. For those of you that is not familiar with the terms, you can come over to the articles I have copied over here for you guys, and you search up the key terms. For example, for Link, this will provide the next battle skill or ultimate skills with bonus damage. And if you combine your skills correctly, you can time a massive damage from your DPS character like Liberating after Akekuri has granted Team Link, and this allows you to do tremendous damage. One of the reasons Akekuri is going to be very welcome is not that only she's easy to use and she's SP net positive, she also fits in almost every team. And even though other teams might not enjoy hate as much compared to the Veriting, Akekuri is just universal and also versatile as a supporting SP battery. And this is definitely one of the welcoming, I guess, features for a free-to-play character. She's also easily accessible. So to follow from this, one of the second and one of the best damage amplification supporting character in the team is going to be Antal. Antal over here is also a 4-star character, and similar to Akekuri, he can be obtained through 3 different banners. Now, if you guys are not sure about the banners, we have a gadget guide, and in that gadget guide you can see the rates of the banners and also how characters are guaranteed and what are the chances for those characters. Just to show you guys over here, usually 4-star characters are super high chance of appearing, and this is how you can get Akekuri and also Antal very quickly to the highest potential, because they have 91% chance of appearing, and you have over 100 or 200 summons at the launch of the game. So Antal over here is going to be one of the best supporting damage amplification characters for both of the Heat and also Electro teams. Those are two of the strongest meta teams at the moment. The Heat team goes with Levitating very well, and the Electro team can go with Awinya. I cannot pronounce characters' names. So coming back to our character tier list, character composition, our Winya over here is going to be one of the strongest free-to-play mono electric or electro teams that can work very well. So for more information, do see the previous videos. I try to not go back too much. So Antal over here is one of the best damage amplifications, and because he fits in 2 of the meta teams, and even though he doesn't heal like the other supporting characters, he excels in dealing high damage. And majority of the content, the higher damage you deal, the faster you clear the content and progress to the next stage, and also farming materials much faster. So this is why he's one of the top build and also most wanted 4-star supporting characters. Because those characters are 4-star, it is very likely at the early stage of the game we can be building those characters, especially if you want to go with a Heat team with Levitating, which I think 90% of us may be going for that. So those characters fits perfectly on the Levitating team. Again, you can come back to the previous video for additional information of how those team works and how to fit those characters. To follow up on this, I will be touching on one of the best free-to-play 6-star healing characters in the game. And this is, of course, Ardelia. Oh gosh, bad with names. So this character, if you guys are not sure, check our previous video as to the acquisition of this particular character. In the live stream of patch 1.0, this character was revealed to be a 14-day login event. So once you log into the game for 14 days, you'll be able to obtain this free 6-star healing character, and also very good for everything. There's also a 1 in 5 chance in the beginner's banner to get her as a free 6-star character. So in the beginner banner, you have chances of obtaining all 5 of those standard characters. And if you happen to obtain her early in the beginner's banner, don't feel bad, she's going to be a duplicate in 14 days. Because the higher duplicates or the higher potential she become, the better supporting and also the better damage amplification she can provide for the whole team. So our 6-star neutral character, Ardelia, she's gonna be one of the best healing characters that fits for any team. Her healing potential is the highest in the game, and she also provides a slight damage amplification. And this means that she can work in any meta teams, whether it's fire or heat, whether it's cryo, whether it's electric, physical, or multiple synergy teams. So this means if you are looking for a healing character that clears all the content, this free character will be the one you want to save up for. We'll also have a look at her ideal weapons and what are the upgrade materials you can be farming and also preparing for her before you have gotten her. Because I think most of us might have to wait for 14 days to get her, you can prepare her, and on the 14th day, you can pretty much level her to maximal or the desired target point so that she can fit any team. Now that we talk about some of the universal characters, let's have a look at some of the characters that is also free in the game, but that can provide us with a specific team comp synergy. And the one I want to mention is going to be Wulfgard. Wulfgard is one of the characters that was free in the beta, and likely this is the case in the release of the game. I don't see reasons he's not free, but there may be changes. So Wulfgard during the beta is one of the free characters through the story progression. It's also used as a make-do or the, I guess, temporary DPS character before you get your other characters, especially your 6-stars. Wulfgard is one of the best supporting enabled characters for the Levitating Heat meta team. This is because Wulfgard can provide a lot of hit stacks for Levitating to consume. Wulfgard can also detonate combustion. Again, if you're interested in combustion, this is one of the synergies of the hit comp. The heat comp can provide combustion by applying heat as well, and make sure you understand this. This is a little bit new to us, but it's not the most difficult part because of the elemental combinations. We have seen those in other gadget games. So Wulfgard over here can detonate combustion, and this will provide the team with bonus. Oh, what did I do? And this will provide the team with bonus fire damage. Come back here. Yes, this will provide the team with bonus fire damage. So as a supporting character, Wulfgard can enable the team, especially Veritin, to do tremendous damage. And usually, if you've seen our builder's guide, Wulfgard is always in her build and always in her team count. Combined with the right set of gears and also right weapon, Wulfgard will provide even higher damage and also resistance penetration. Now over here, the next free-to-play character of focus is going to be Perlica. Now I did have a typo over here. I was like, how come Perlica is pulling from banners? So again, from the beta and likely through the story at the launch of the game, Perlica is going to be a free character right at the start. She's going to be the character that will kind of interact with the endings, of course. She's a very cute character. So Perlica is completely free, and I don't see reasons they will change that. And having this free character means that you can build her in one of the best electro free-to-play teams. And this also means that Perlica can work as a source of damage dealing and also supporting character in the early stage of the game. Now, ideally, she works the best in electric teams, and here I do want to bring us to the electric teams, which consist of majority 5-star more free-to-play characters. Ardelia is going to be the DPS character, when you can have Akekuri and also Antal as the supporting character, and then you can consider having Arknights and also Perlica. And finally, we can have premium characters like Gibetta over here to support in this very powerful mono-electric team. So, the centerpiece for the electric team to work wonderfully well is going to be the enabler Perlica, which will provide a lot of electro stacks. And this is one of the reasons, if you do plan to invest in her, you definitely should understand and also look into the Ardelia team. And in the previous video and also team builds guide, we have had a look at this, so we go forward a little bit. Because this character is completely free and she can work in other teams as well in the early stage of the game, I don't see reasons why not to invest her a little bit, even though I don't plan to play electric team, but I won't invest too much into her. We'll talk about the investment very soon, because investment comes in the form of upgrading characters, spending resource, which can be a little scarce in the early stage of the game. Now finally, one of the top character of choice as a free-to-play character is gonna be Xiahi. Xiahi over here is Xiahi over here is gonna be one of the more rare characters compared to the other free-to-play characters which are kind of freely acquired. Xiahi is gonna be a 5-star character that is obtained from summoning banners. Now, this might seem to be a little bit harder to get her, but if we come over to the guide to my drop rate for characters, the base drop rate for 5-star characters are 80%. And on top of that, if we look into the PT system, the 5-star characters are always guaranteed after every 10 summons. And sometimes this can be replaced by a 6-star character, but we are happy to get a 6-star character. So usually every 10 summons, you get a 5-star character. And the natural drop rate for 5-star characters is really high. And having over 130 to 200 summons in the game, combining all the free-to-play banners, beginner banners, limited banners, there's a high chance of us getting at least one copy of Xiahi, and even higher chance for more duplicates for higher potential. So what is Xiahi good for? Well, she's good for in cryo teams, or ice teams. So coming over to the cryo teams, there are 2 major DPS characters that can work in a cryo team, and this include the limited banner character Yvonne and also the standard banner 6-star really high scaling character with Last Rite. Both characters works wonderfully well with Xiahi, one of the centerpiece of the cryo team. So why is Xiahi very powerful is that she provides us with the highest amplification for cryo damage. She can also act as a healer, and when she overheals, she will provide the team with even higher damage bonus. So in that sense, she's a supporting character that kind of serves for 2 roles, and this is great. We can add in other characters to this synergy by having characters like additional healer or having characters like Gibetta for more control and also even more damage amp. We can even consider having characters like Snowshine over here, which is also a free 5-star character. If you've seen the previous video, you see that she's also given for free in the game as you pre-register. So make sure we pre-register. And this character will make all the team members super tanky. So in that sense, Xiahi here can fill multiple spots, and this will free up spots for your other team comps and also synergies. Because we only have one very good healer, this can be the alternative healer for your second cryo team and your first synergy team with maybe Levitating or maybe with the electro characters can use one of the best healers. Because you kind of don't want to have both healers on the same party, right? Really depends on the player. And at the same time, if we're looking for the combination with Gibetta can also heal a little bit. So in that sense, there's a lot of healing choices for the cryo team. Now, before we jump over to the second part, a brief mention for the End Admin and also Chen. Those are great characters for physical teams, and we do have the previous video and also builds on those characters. Should you want to go into a physical team, I don't see reasons why this doesn't work in the early and also mid-game. In the later stage of the game, you might want to look for one of the 6-star physical characters like PogChamp over here, and also Leafin. I could not pronounce his name, Mattjestic. So those 6-star characters will go a long way. Even Ember over here can be a great 6-star character with an End Admin. But having the physical team scaling really well with 6-star characters doesn't suit us that well for free-to-play team composition. So this is why I didn't want to talk about those characters too much. But yes, those are free-to-play free characters that we can be using as well. So don't forget about those if you want to run a physical team comp. Now that we talk about the characters, let's briefly talk about those characters' build and also equipment and also ascension upgrades. So Akekuri is going to be the first character. In terms of the 6-star weapon for her, it's definitely the Terminite Cutter. This will provide him with the... So after the Wither's skill recover SP, grant Link Stick, which she does both, the entire team will gain attack percentage, and this can stack multiple times. So Akekuri does both. She will recover SP, she will also grant Link. So it's very easy to get the highest stack for this 6-star weapon. Alternatively, we can go for the Edge of Darkness, and this will provide the entire team with heat and also electric damage bonus. It is not a huge factor, but after recovering SP with own skills, this is also easily triggered. Now, in terms of the choice of the gears, you're going to see this particular set come up a lot. So this is the external extra, right? So for this particular gear, the character will gain 1000 bonus HP, but the bigger focus is over here. When the character provides amp, protected, susceptible, or weakened, other teammates will gain attack to 16% attack for 15 seconds. And even though this does not stack, this is one of the best supporting set for a lot of those free-to-play characters, which acts as a supporting character. So you're going to see this set a lot. Now in terms of the upgrade materials, what you're going to notice is all the characters in Endfield have a similar initial upgrade material. This costs very low credits, and those are the basic proto disc and also the pink mushroom, those mushrooms. So you can see all the characters will have similar stage for the first 3 stages, and then on the final stage, Akekuri does have some uniquely different materials and also costs a lot of credits. Now, what I want to share is, as a supporting character, don't consider getting a supporting character to the last stage. It would cost you too much resource, and it's not advised in the early stage of the launch of the game. You want to get your DPS character to the highest stage. So take the note of the promotional materials, maybe go to the 3rd ascension. I probably keep her on the 2nd ascension and then consider the 3rd promotion in the future. And this is a typo, by the way, this should be a 3. So coming over to the next character, Antal over here does have 2 choices of different weapon. So a 6-star weapon with detonation unit is decent for Antal. Not only will she gain some secondary attribute, the Wither or the character applies an Art Burst. Enemies suffer Art Burst taking damage increased by 9% for 15 seconds. So again, for a great damage amplifier, having enemy taking additional damage is one of the best ways to deal high damage. And alternatively, a more free-to-play 5-star weapon for Antal is going to be the Ars Identifier. This one provides him with additional bonus HP, and when the welder applies Art Burst or physical status with their own skills, which he does do that, and the entire team will gain heat damage dealt and also electric damage dealt for 22.4% for 15 seconds. So because Antal works in both heat teams and also electric teams, this free-to-play or 5-star weapon might be one of the best weapons for him until you get the 6-star weapon. Again, those 5-star weapons are definitely enough for those supporting characters. And of course, as you guys have expected, we're using the same supporting pieces to gain the teammates 16% attack damage increase for 15 seconds. Now, Antal's upgrade material is very similar to Akekuri, and all the characters have similar initial promotion materials. I'm recommending getting him to level 2 or maybe level 3, but do not take him to level 4 because again, you have limited resource. Look at how much credits it will cost. It will pretty much cost 10 times the material, and it's a massive amount of materials to be farming in the early stage of the game. So do consider just getting him to 2 or 3 promotions if he is one of the centerpiece of the build as a supporting character. The third character, and here we have Ardelia, oh gosh, bad pronunciations. So yes, Ardelia over here, her weapon choices, we do have the Dream of the Starry Beach for free. So when you obtain her after 14-day login, ideally you would have gotten that weapon for free as well. So that's very self-explanatory. I don't think we'll look into other weapons, but there's one alternative choice over here as well. There's a number of alternatives, but if you're given a free weapon for the ideal character, you pretty much will consider that weapon, right? So the Dreaming Starry Beach, the 6-star weapon for Ardelia. Over here, this provide a secondary stat of 16% attribute, and after the Wulfgard consumes corruption. Now, corruption over here, I'm sure most of you guys know about this, but if you do not, corruption over here is when you reduces the enemy's elemental resistance to all the elements, and this is coming from natural infliction. In terms of natural infliction, it's come from natural characters, and surprisingly enough, our healer here is also a natural character, so she can apply corrosion. And after the Wulfgard consumes corrosion, the enemy target suffers arts damage taken for 10%. Again, this increases the enemy's damage taken, and this is one of the best ways to deal higher damage. Alternatively, if you happen to have another 6-star weapon with Oblivion, this can provide her with critical chance, which is not a huge necessity, and this also provides her with a bit of damage bonus and also additionally damage bonus. So I don't think this is the ideal supporting weapon. And to be honest, I left it here just in case you guys want to see the stats of the alternative weapon. But the default weapon is pretty much the best one for her, and you get this one for free. And as you guys might have guessed, for supporting characters, again, we're using the external X-Right set for another 18% attack damage bonus. Now, with Ardelia over here, usually I don't recommend taking characters to the maximum ascension or their promotion, but you can consider preparing for her, because if we're getting her in 14 days time, if you have a lot of free resource, free stamina, free time, you can slowly collect her all the way to promotion 4. So this is one of the only characters I think is worth the preparation to get her to maximum promotion once your main DPS characters or core characters have gotten to the highest level. Always remember to promote the DPS character first, and then the essential 6-star characters have the best stats scaling. Now as we keep going, let's try to go a little faster. So Wulfgard over here is going to use 2 of those choices of weapon of choice, and for the 6-star weapon we have increasing main attribute, and after the Wulfgard consume arts reaction, enemy target suffers arts damage taken for 10% plus damage for the specific element, which is going to be the heat element, as Wulfgard is going to detonate the combustion, and this effect only trigger 25 times. Again, you're finding ways to increase enemy's damage taken. As for the 5-star alternative weapon for Wulfgard, over here we have Rational Farewell. So this will increase battle skill damage, and after the Wulfgard combo skill apply Art Burst or Combusted, which Wulfgard will apply combustion, this will increase his attack for about 44%. Now, ideally, you want the weapon that supports the team to increase the enemy's damage taken, but having a weapon that increases Wulfgard's damage is not bad as well, because he does do decent damage as a secondary or sub DPS. So this is the choice. In terms of the choices of the gears, here we have the Tidal Surge set. For 3 pieces of this set, we have increased art intensity, and when the character applies 3 stacks of art infliction and triggers an art burst on the enemy, the art burst deal damage with increasing 100% and cause the enemy of the matching elemental resistance to be lowered by 10. And the ideal part is to lower the enemy resistance, and the resistance we're lowering is going to be the heat resistance, which in return increases your team's heat damage output, and this is great for liberating for her massive damage. Again, for the Wulfgard, I don't recommend getting him to the max ascension, probably promotional 3, because he can do some like secondary DPS as well together in the hate team. Now we have Perlica. Perlica over here have a choice of 6-star weapon and also 5-star weapon. For her 6-star weapon detonation unit, she will gain secondary attribute, and after applying art burst, enemy suffers art damage taken for 9%. So this weapon will come back a few times. And in the future, we'll have a tier list for the best free-to-play weapons, because some of those weapons can be purchased in the weapon shop, some of those weapons can be acquired through the selection 6-star weapon box. So we'll talk about the tier list for those free-to-play 6-star weapons. So the 6-star weapons increase enemies' damage taken. The 5-star weapon over here, the Wild Wanderer, will provide us with art intensity, and after the welder or the character provides electrician, which happens very often with Perlica as she applies electro stacks, the team will gain physical damage dealt and also electro damage dealt increased by 22%. This is the similar weapon to what Antal was using, but he was gaining the heat damage and also electric damage. So here for Perlica, she's gaining the team physical damage and also electric damage. That said, I also want to mention it is possible to consider Perlica on physical team as well. And because she's one of the free characters, she can work well with the admin and also with Chen as well. In terms of the choices of the gears, Perlica can go with a pulsar lapse. So 3 pieces of those gears will increase art intensity, and also when the character applies electrification, which quite frequently, she will gain damage increase with electric damage. And similarly, if she doesn't apply solidification, so we can ignore that part. So this is just to help her to deal additional electric damage, synergies, and also reactions. In terms of Perlica, again, I advise getting her to promotion 2 or promotion 3 if you're using her as a sub DPS for the electric team, and she does do decent damage. Not recommended to go for maximum promotion until you're much later in the game. Finally, we have Xiahi. Xiahi's ideal 6-star weapon can be the, oh gosh, I cannot pronounce his name. So the effect of this weapon is going to increase the treatment efficiency, which is the healing power pretty much for the character. After the welder give healing through the skills, the entire team gain attack for 9%. And even though this does not stack, we have multiple ways of getting a lot of healing, and also overhealing is very welcome for Xiahi. When Xiahi overheals, she will provide the team with higher damage bonus. So having treatment efficiency means you heal higher numbers, so more chances of overhealing through this character. In terms of the 5-star weapon, you gain some bonus main attribute, and then when the character restores health with the battle skills, the controlled operator is also restoring another health based on the willpower, and this triggers every 15 seconds. Again, this weapon plays in the fact that she wants to overheal, and once she overheals and heals multiple characters, then they will gain a damage bonus as well. Finally, as you guys have might expected, she's gonna go with a healing set. And the healing set, of course, is very similar to, what the healing characters might want. And this may be alternative set for the healing character for Ardelia. So the characters or the wearer's HP treatment efficiency is increased by another 20%. And when the character heals an ally, the ally also gains 15% damage reduction to all top-up damage for 10 seconds. If the set treatment exceeds the target's maximum health, the target gains 30% damage reduction to all types of damage by 30%. So this is a very defensive set. Now, if I go back a little bit, apologize for skipping. So if I go back a little bit, here the recommended set for Ardelia here is a more offensive set that provides the team with 18% damage. But alternatively, Ardelia can also go with a defensive set with more healing. But because of the character skills and also passive with Xihi, she wants to overheal as much as she can, and when she overheals, she provides damage bonus. So ideally, this defensive set makes her even more offensive as well, and the 30% damage reduction happens quite often. So this is the recommendation set, and you can use this set on any of the healers. Finally, for Xiahi, again, getting her to 3rd promotion are the same materials for all the characters. If you want to get her to final 4th promotion, it is possible and it's not bad because she scales nicely with her stats and this helps her to overheal. Now, the only reason I would recommend getting her to the highest ascension is that if you're running her in a very strong cryo team. So you're either having Yvonne or having Last Rite, and this is why I would consider getting her to the highest ascension or promotion. But this is much later in the game, until you have your DPS characters all maxed out to the highest promotion. So hopefully this detailed video helped you guys to understand the characters, understand the builds, the ascension materials, the choices of weapons, and the reasons and also ways of getting those characters for free in the game. I'm making those guides not only to, help you guys, but also to help myself. And should I want to go in for a particular team count, I can quickly come back to my own notes to see what those characters need, what are the weapons I want to look for, and what are the set of gears I want to look for those characters. And if you guys have any recommendations or suggestions, feel free to let us know in the comments below as well. Now, if you guys haven't subscribed, this is a really good time to do so, because I'll be covering everything related to Arknights Endfields, relating to the builds, the characters, and also ways of getting promo codes and additional freebies, explorations related to the game. So make sure you subscribe for the latest update and also news related to the game, and also more updates for new patches to come in the future.